CrossGen sound check. Dun
Our second one or what?
dun. Well, the first one got screwed up because
In an alternate universe.
because your mic was on, but my mic was off, and so was AJ's.
So I was the only one speaking. So I'm curious to see how that sounded.
No, it sounded like this. So speak.
Yeah, hello.
And then me and AJ's sounded like this.
I'm curious to see how that sounds, honestly.
You're curious to see
it sounds
how
like
that sounds?
Am I like, oh yeah.
What?
What?
You can see sound.
Say
Good
what?
for you.
Oh my gosh. No, but like, it'll probably like sound like I'm talking to ghosts, like whispering in my ear.
It probably sound like you're talking, and then we're like maybe 500 feet away.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's true.
Kind of like in Shazam.
Yeah.
When he was fighting what was it?
Dr. Savannah.
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
My God, that was amazing.
So he was like, "What? I can't hear you."
Yeah. That was sick.
CrossGen sound check.
Sound check.
Dun-dun.
Sound check.
Dun.
I pulled Goku and Vegeta SSB.
That is pretty
Goku
cool.
and Vegeta, yes.
But do you know what
as well
was
as Future
made
Trunks.
in the U.S. this day?
Americans.
Wrong.
Are you gonna do this again?
It was
Dragon Ball Legend.
Amaretto D.
Dokkan
Amore.
battle.
It's better than the last one you did on the sound check, where you referenced Bleach.
Yeah.
Well, come to
and
think
all
of
the
it,
things that
this
come with
was
Yeah.
produced by Tide. The only thing is that it's not used to clean your mouth. It's used to clean your
Your
engines.
face.
It's like silk to a car.
What?
that. I'm not
Wait,
even
what?
gonna touch that.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna touch that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So okay, so amaretto with Tide silk for your car.
More or
whatever
less.
you just said. Yes, I agree.
This is the weirdest.
Thank you
sound
for
check.
shopping here.
Yes.
This is a
Yes.
weird sound check.
Oh my God, this is insane.
CrossGen blah, I can't even do it right.
CrossGen
See?
pound check. Wait,
Powder
Pound check?
Wait,
What's
what?
a pound
No,
check?
now you got me confused.
All right.
I'm so confused.
CrossGen sound check. Done.
Sound
Done.
check, not pound check.
Clear.
Wait.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CrossGen podcast.
The beginning of the
CrossGen
end.
Pound check.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody. Our listeners in the U.S. and around the world.
Yes.
I am Walt, your host, and I am joined by
Sound like
my
an
two
anime character.
awesome. What?
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 Oh shoot.
Sound like what? Your thing is falling apart.
Yeah.
The mic stand? What the heck did you do to your mic stand?
Wait. Can't I just
What do you?
turn it
Are
back
you
in?
gonna turn it? You gonna try and screw it in?
Yeah, I can't. Right?
Yeah.
No, just look
Try.
here.
No, it's the bass.
Oh, it's the
Bass.
bass.
Yes, because anything can happen on the CrossGen podcast, including technical difficulties regarding Eli's mic
Just
stand
don't.
bass.
Yeah.
Screw it
Yes.
in, man.
Huh?
Screw it in.
Wait for real?
Yeah, it should work. See, now it's tight, right?
Yeah. I didn't want to mess it up.
Dun, 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 dun. Stand by. Technical difficulties. We'll be right back. Dun, dun, dun,
I mean, no, that's not what an intermission is. Wait, yeah, that is what an intermission is, right?
You give people the intermission, but whatever.
I don't know. Anyway, okay. Anime character. Okay. This is the CrossGen podcast.
You sound like a punk at a rock concert.
Oh, now you really just sound like Esherim.
No, that
Oh.
didn't. No, that didn't.
I
Hold on,
kinda
hold on. Let me
did.
see if I
This
can do
is
it.
him.
Esherim
This is the
from.
pod- Yo.
Hold
No,
on.
no, no.
Esherim from Halo Infinite. Let me see if I can channel him. Hello, this is the CrossGen podcast.
That's
To our listeners in the United States and around the world, welcome. I am your brute,
No, I'm your war chief.
Esherim Walt, and I'm joined by my two elites, AJ
I mean,
and Eli.
Oh, yeah, that's Blade Master AJ to you.
Oh, Blade Master. And then Eli the Elite.
No.
Eli the Grunt.
Banished. The banished.
You banished from the show.
Yes. What?
Oh.
Oh my god! You guys bring that back.
There it is. Yeah, kid. Anyway, okay. Guys, say hello. We've
Goodbye.
fooled around for way too long. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
Say
I
hello.
said goodbye.
No. Say hello.
Goodbye.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Is it me you're looking for?
Yes.
No, that is garbage. No.
Anyway, okay. Today we have a very specific thing because we saw a very specific thing and we thought it was a very, very specific. It gave us a very specific emotion.
Well, actually, I wanted to mention something real quick.
Before we did any of these specific things that we were supposed to do.
I just want to say the Dragon Ball superhero trailer looks
Okay.
sick. And Gohan
Before
is
hold
garbage.
on. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do some maintenance first.
I was just gonna say that real quick.
Okay. But let's do some maintenance first. Maintenance for the podcast. Please remember to review, rate, and subscribe to the CrossGen podcast. It is the best way possible to show a little love to the podcast that you love. So show some love to the podcast you love.
Okay.
That just ruined it.
He was just waiting for that.
Yeah.
He was waiting until I was finishing. He was like,
God.
okay, now I can pounce.
Oh my god, that's hard.
What?
What?
We're a little silly today.
Yeah.
This is going to be the last podcast of the year, people. We are going on hiatus for the holidays. We're going on holiday, as they say across the pond. Over here, we're going on vacation.
Yeah.
What?
God. What? Oh my
AJ's
gosh.
channeling Little John today.
Little John. Yes, that is amazing.
Will this be applied to my frequent flyer plan, miles, stuff? Okay.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
That was the perfect voice for that.
I know, right?
Gosh. Yeah.
Big shout out to Dave Chappelle and his portrayal of Little John.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are going on holiday for the people across the pond, and we're going on vacation for the people here in the States. We're taking some time off to be with our family and friends, especially in this age of COVID. I think it'll be a good time to kind of, as much as we love doing this, I think we need to kind of unwind and regenerate and refocus and just spend time with family and friends, because that's really super important to do, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. So this is going to be our last one, and we'll be back in the new year celebrating new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. But before we do Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, no?
Yeah.
Are we not?
Yeah.
But before we do,
What?
did you not want to speak on something?
No, I just wanted to say Gohan is garbage.
Wow. Okay.
That was it.
So
We could go into
I'm not going to
Home now.
give you the dignity of shooting back
I
with
thought
a
you wanted to talk
response.
about the Dragon Ball Superheroes trailer.
No, I just wanted to say Gohan looks garbage in the new trailer.
Wow. Okay.
Shots
AJ?
fired.
I'm not going to dignify that. I'm
That's
not
fine.
going to dignify that.
He did throw down the
Gohan fans
gauntlet.
are probably
Yeah,
punching
well,
the
I'm
air.
not going to dignify
I mean,
it.
Wait, punching the air, is that good or bad?
That's bad, because that
Yes.
means you're doing nothing.
Then they're punching, Gohan fans are punching the air.
No, you're punching the
shadow
air right now,
boxing?
because I'm not dignifying your.
Huh?
Are they shadow boxing?
I'm not
Yeah, they're
dignifying your comment.
No, I don't think, yeah. But
What do you mean punching the air? Like,
they're going like, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know.
Stop channeling Dio or Jotaro or whatever you're doing.
What? Oh, Jesus. No, like when they say that. Forget it. No Way Home. No Way Home. What
No
are we
Way
going to talk about?
Well,
Is this spoiler free or what?
No,
no,
you
we're
can't.
We're
you
gonna
have
go full
to.
spoilers.
You have to.
Full
We're gonna go.
spoilers.
So we're telling you ahead of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to give our initial impressions of the movie, and then we're going to go full spoiler territory. So people, if you're on here to listen to our impressions, we're going to give you the spoiler warning where we're going to lift the curtain and we're going to go all out with Spider-Man, right? But before we do, there's something else I want to talk to you guys about. Before anything.
Yeah.
So, this past weekend, since you guys are into the whole YouTube thing, Jake Paul had a fight.
Oh yeah, I heard about that, and I don't want to even acknowledge that. Let's just put it like
I
that.
hate to say it, but I think you're gonna have to start. He is
I
now
know.
5-0, and a lot of people are saying that he's actually pretty good.
Okay, but
did you see?
you've
did you see the
even-
fight?
Okay, but
I
I'm
don't
not.
wanna
I'm not.
see
I'm
that
not.
fight.
First of
No.
all,
No,
no. But
you-
second of all, you even told me yourself he's picking on people that he can
Right.
probably win against.
He is. But you know what? There's still a lot of people that are saying you're starting to see the skill.
People don't
I'm gonna-
understand what skill is nowadays.
Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Choreographed, I can tell you that much.
This is the fight, right?
Okay.
And hold on. This is the end of the fight.
Wow. Okay.
He done knocked that guy out until next week.
Okay. I
He
mean,
done knocked that guy out.
if he becomes a boxer,
Tyrone
good for him,
Woodley.
I guess.
Yeah.
No. That was
Tyrone Woodley,
choreographed or
who's
something.
the guy he fought, right? And an ex-UFC fighter. He fought on Saturday. He's waking up on Wednesday. So, because he got knocked the
On
F
Wednesday?
out.
It's a figure of
Mm.
speech.
He got knocked the F out. So,
Oh, I thought you were actually.
No.
I thought you really knocked him out for like.
No, there's no way to
3 whole
determine
days.
that. Well, his hairs are growing a little slower. He must be waking up until Wednesday.
he's like in suspended
No.
animation. Get him out of the cryo tube.
No, I really thought.
No.
Right.
But he got knocked out. And so now Jake Paul is calling out everybody and stuff.
Oh, of course,
You know?
he's gonna take this moment to diss everybody.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, of course.
He's calling out UFC directly. He's asking Dana White, who runs the UFC, for
No.
fights with some of his fighters. Some of the fighters have responded back and not favorably to Jake Paul.
This is like, it's so annoying. This is like a constant thing where suddenly YouTubers win something that nobody thought they would win, and all of a sudden they think that they can call out literally everybody related to that.
Listen, let them call him out,
And
then
let them yeah.
get destroyed.
Yeah.
And you know what? That'll stop that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm fine with whatever he's about to do.
So the funny thing is that one of our mates, our dojo mates, was on the card, right? Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
She's a Hall of Fame boxer, and she literally destroyed her competition here. I mean, there's this sequence here where this is a boxing clinic on what she's doing to her opponent.
Jeez, bro.
So that's just savage.
Wow.
Damn.
So big up to Amanda Serrano on her win.
Yeah.
And on the same card, however, you had ex-NBA player Deron Williams fighting ex-football player, and he used to play for the Jets for a bit, Frank Gore. I got to show you this one just because, well, let me just let you see. Here's the fight. There's the punch.
Okay.
And the look.
Yo, amazing.
So Frank Gore got hit looking like he wasn't expecting to get hit, and then said, "What the heck? You just hit me."
Oh my gosh, that is.
I'm gonna post that face on our social media because that is just classic.
Meme
right?
template.
Oh God,
Yes.
that will actually become a meme template.
Yes, it will. Yes,
Oh
it
my
will.
God, that
Frank
is-
Gore, who's a Hall of Fame running back,
Yeah.
has just immortalized himself in the meme Hall of Fame also, right? With that face.
That
So
would be amazing.
just saying. So there you go. So those are the crazy things of the day that I just happened to stumble upon while I was going through Instagram. So Dragon Ball Super, I think superheroes. I think we're done with that trailer. I mean, do we
I
want to
mean, it
even
was-
speak on it?
I
There
mean, it
really
was-
wasn't a lot of stuff there, right?
They showed some new stuff, one of which he touched on, but other than
Gohan's
that,
stupid face.
not really. No.
He had the Piccolo suit too, right?
Yeah, he had the full Piccolo getup too, like the
Why was he
whole
wearing
white.
glasses with it though?
Because he wears
Yeah,
glasses.
Gohan kind of wears glasses, dude.
Nah. And okay, so apparently he's beating like these new robots or whatever, right?
I guess he's fighting them. Yeah.
Okay. I
So
mean,
do
whatever.
we? Are we any like with the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie? The trailer was lit, right? Do we have?
I don't
the
even remember
same-
the trailer.
Do we have the same feelings for superhero? Like,
First of all, I
No.
don't vibe with the name.
I don't
It's
vibe with
Yeah, it
it.
is
really
kinda
Nobody
weird.
does, at least.
The second thing, it looks like Goku is not going to be a part of this at all.
so this
He's
is going to
only
be
gonna
all
be-
Gohan.
It's going to be Gohan and Piccolo versus these two new androids,
And
which
Vegeta's just
Vegeta will probably be with Goku. Like, who are we kidding?
So he's not gonna show up at
They're
all.
probably out training somewhere.
With
Yeah.
Broly,
Yep.
who's much worthier than these two weird looking
Gohan and Piccolo.
Well, supposedly in the first trailer they showed
androids.
like in a blink if you miss it moment, right? And in you have to really stop the YouTube and then zoom in like 10 times magnification. Broly is in the trailer.
Yeah.
He's just you can't see him through the naked eye. You have to use like all these instruments to find him.
Yeah, trying to fight Goku.
Right.
Fighting Goku. Yeah.
Sparring, whatever.
Yeah, Spartan.
So is this Gotcha Man?
Gotcha, man.
Is who's the no, I'm sorry. The superhero that Gohan plays.
Oh, Great Saiyan.
Saiyan.
Great Saiyaman.
No, it's
I'm
actually
Gotcha Man. I'm thinking about another anime and whatnot.
not at all.
Man.
No, he's not at all doing the Great Saiyaman thing. He's in, like we said, he's in Piccolo's getup. He has the
Is
purple
this-
gi. He has the white thing,
Yeah.
the cape thing.
Yeah, but let me ask you this then. The Great Saiyaman, was that canon?
Of course, it was.
It was canon. Okay. Do you well see it doesn't make sense because you can't say this is an origin story because it's set it looks like it's set after
It is.
Dragon Ball Super, right?
Definitely.
So okay, so that throws that out the window.
It's definitely gonna be
Is he creating a new superhero identity?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
What was the storyline with Simon?
Great Saiyaman was basically his way of being able to help out the community without outing himself as a Saiyan, because for some reason being a Saiyan was outing yourself.
why does he look why is he more of a clown when he's not wearing that suit?
What?
That's besides the point. Gohan sucks. But anyway, right? Okay, the new superhero trailer. I mean, it's something that I'm sort of
And these-
hyped up for.
These androids use guns.
They do.
You didn't see? He used a gun to blast at Piccolo.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I never liked them to begin with.
I mean, I'm fine with what's his name, Granola and his people using like the sniper rifle.
well, they don't use rifles.
Well, they were like sniping.
No, but like they don't even. At least from what the trailer showed us, it doesn't look like they're using traditional ki. They're
Just using
maybe they're using energy from themselves and channeling it through the gun. I don't know how that works.
That would be totally weird.
There's still too little that's unknown about this. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. It makes me wonder why they released these trailers then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because they're literally showing nothing and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know. This thing comes out in Japan in April, right?
It does?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
it's sometime very, very soon.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
Whether
Dude.
when we get an English dub, I have no idea. But it probably lags like maybe a couple of months after that.
Yeah,
So-
that
I don't
sounds
need an
right.
English
Yeah.
dub.
So
I
don't know.
kind of need an English
We'll
dub
see.
for Dragon Ball. I'm sorry.
Nah, I'd prefer sub. But it doesn't matter.
all right. Let's talk about what we are here to talk about. Spider-Man No Way Home. We saw it on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw it late on Friday because tickets were virtually impossible to find. So we had to go like an hour out from where we live to a theater out in Long Island to watch it. I'm gonna say, and just on the side, probably not going back to that movie theater.
No.
I was kind of so just to let the folks that are listening to us know, those are one of those movies, and I'm not going to name the movie theater because I don't want to disparage anybody and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep it kind of anonymous. But that movie theater is one of those movie theaters where you can order food or you can. It's like you're not getting normal.
You're not just getting popcorn.
Theater.
You're getting like, oh wow, I completely forgot to
Cheesesteaks.
mention this to you guys. They had a bacon chicken mac and cheese.
Yeah, see. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't. Well, you found out afterwards, right?
No, I found out when I was in line to get
So
the
why
drink
didn't you get it then? I'm
because
surprised
we
you
just
didn't.
had dinner, and
Oh,
you guys
that's
would have
true.
ripped me a new one.
That's true. So, yeah, but it's weird because it's not. So the pinnacle for me when it comes to dining in and watching a movie is the Alamo Drafthouse, right?
Yes.
Them I can mention because they do it awesome and they do it right. You know, you go to if you guys are fortunate enough to have an Alamo Drafthouse by you guys, they have a full on menu, right?
Mhm.
It's and they have a chef actually on site, so which makes it awesome. So you're not even looking at traditional like hot dogs and stuff. You're looking at gourmet food, right? But what they do is that during the previews, and Alamo Drafthouse has their own set of previews because they have their own production. So they're not showing just trailers. They actually show you like mini shorts that they produce in-house regarding the movie you're about to watch, right? So like when we went to go see what was it, Rogue One?
Yeah.
They had all these Star Wars shorts. That's where we saw the awesome that awesome song where Yoda was singing.
The
seagulls.
lip sync.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, that's where we saw it, right?
Damn.
So they do it really cool, right? Because before they encourage you to get there early because they have their own stuff and whatnot. And then while they're doing that, they bring out the menu and they encourage you to order at that point, right? And so during the preview, everybody's ordering and stuff. The lights are still on, you can see everything. And then once the movie starts, that's when, you know, the waiters, I guess if you call them, they come and they bring you the food, but the way the movie is set up, they don't get in the way.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's cool the way Alamo Drafthouse does it.
Yeah.
The movie theater that we went to, unfortunately, they don't do that. Because throughout the freaking movie, people were getting up to go get food and coming back to eat the food.
Yeah.
And it is mad annoying when you're trying to watch a movie and people are up and getting up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down.
No, the worst part for me was that, there was this one waiter dude who came in with like this super bright and distracting flashlight.
And he's going like pointing at the food, and then it was like, oh my god, it was just.
Well, I don't think those are waiters. I think those were just people that are going out to the concession stand and coming back in.
They don't have
so you're telling me that was a regular dude?
Yeah, I think that's a regular dude.
Bro, these are regular people.
Oh wow.
This is just
that's what I'm saying. Alamo Drafthouse does it right because their layout is constructed as such that at literally no point will your view be obstructed by people bringing in food.
Yeah.
You know? And the waiters, credit to them, they're very good at crouching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Jesus Christ.
So big up to Alamo Drafthouse. We're not going back to that movie theater that we went to on Friday though in Long Island. I hate to say it because that was mad annoying. It got to the point where I was literally about to yell at them and say, just sit the F down. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Because up and down and coming in and coming out, and we're trying to watch the movie and it's just like, wow. So very distracting on that part. And you know what? That movie theater needs to figure something out because that experience kind of sucked.
Yeah,
You know?
really did.
But that being said, let's talk about the movie. Now, I did mention it was hard for us to find tickets. And there's a really, really good reason for that.
Because it was really, really good.
Well, not only
even
that,
just that. Yeah.
let's talk box office numbers.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Okay.
That's
Weren't
going to be
people,
like through the roof.
buying and selling tickets online?
So, there really literally was, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man, as usual with kind of all movies, they started with their Thursday night previews. And the Thursday night previews kind of gave you a sense of what was going to happen with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I believe previously, and this one I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm trying to remember off my head. Previously, the Thursday night previews, which generally starts with 7 and 9 o'clock showings at night, the previous high was 17 million. Spider-Man No Way From Home brought in 50. Okay.
Whoa. Wait.
For that one day Thursday night. Okay. So it nearly tripled the amount that previous Thursday night previews had. Let's go into
Oh my God.
Let's go into the weekend numbers, because just in North America alone, which they released to 4,336 theaters, Spider-Man No Way Home. Can you guess at what the number might be? Do you want to
500 million?
250.
$253 million.
No freaking way.
Wow.
How did I get that?
AJ's not wrong though, because if we go globally,
Oh.
globally,
Okay. Well,
they went $587 million.
Just missed the mark. But
Okay.
I got it because I'm the ultimate predictor.
So now let's put this in focus, right? The previous high was Venom. And this we're talking about pandemic now. Remember, we're in the middle of a pandemic. The previous high was Venom 2, which brought in 90 million the first weekend.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
It destroyed it.
Again, we're talking about pandemic levels. Spider-Man No Way From Home is the third biggest opening weekend ever.
Which, of course, Endgame. Does it beat Endgame?
Give me.
No.
Yes. Yes.
But it comes close to Infinity War. Infinity War opened with a global tally of 640 million. Avengers Endgame, the total was 1.2 billion. Okay.
Wow.
People were really that
Okay.
excited for Endgame. Don't discredit it.
And as awesome as that is, you got to remember we are in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
We are in the middle of the Omicron variant phase of the pandemic. And for it to take in $587 million worldwide.
Wow.
Probably would have beaten Infinity War.
Yeah, you know what? If this was regular times, who knows?
It wouldn't have been.
Well, yeah, I don't think it would have gotten to $1 billion.
Because of course,
But
Endgame is top tier.
It could have surpassed Infinity War easily. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess Sony is popping bottles right now, right?
Yeah. They can finally see why it's a good idea to collab.
Partner. Yep.
Yes.
Partner up with Marvel.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the finale of the trilogy of the Spider-Man Home movies, right? Because you had Homecoming, you had Far From Home, and now you have No Way Home. So this concludes the Home trilogy for Spider-Man in the MCU. Let's get into thoughts about this without spoiling. So what did you guys think about Spider-Man No Way Home?
It was phenomenal. It was. I'm gonna say what I said in the theater. I don't think I've ever felt more satisfied with the way a movie turned out, and that's even including Godzilla versus Kong in the mix. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay, Eli.
Like you said, a phenomenal movie, except I did feel somewhat unsatisfied with the movie. Obviously, of overall it was great. It was amazing, but there were some parts that felt a little bit like it wasn't complete, if you know what I mean.
So
But
it wasn't a perfect movie.
it wasn't a perfect movie, but it was definitely hitting the mark that's probably closest to perfect.
Well, I kind of feel you because I kind of feel the same way. There's been a lot of talk recently with the release of this movie that it may be the best MCU movie. I'm not ready to go there
Yeah.
with that.
Those are I'm
Okay.
sorry,
I
but
am.
those are probably like the Spidey fans. Like Spider-Man has a big fan base, so I feel like that's a little bit biased.
Yeah,
in
I
that
think
sense.
I think people tend to forget
Yeah.
how good Infinity War was,
Bro,
how
Infinity
good
War was good.
how
But
good
End-
Winter Soldier was,
Winter Soldier was good.
how good Civil War was.
Civil War was good.
but
So
when we got to Endgame,
Not good.
No, people were screaming. Literally, there was 2 times the applause that we had when we went to the movie theater for
Fan
this
service.
one, right?
yeah, but you know what?
Especially that last battle.
Endgame is a movie that was filled with fan
Filled.
service,
Yeah, true.
right? That like they were Endgame's weird for me because I really really enjoyed it, but I don't put it as the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I still think Infinity War holds that distinction, followed by
Thank you.
Winter Soldier, and I think Civil War and Endgame are kind of like on par with each other. At least that's my personal opinion, right? Endgame though was probably and I gather the reason why a lot of people love Endgame is because there were so many moments.
Yeah.
There are so many iconic moments in that movie that I think that's the thing that people really gravitated towards in terms of this is the best movie because literally you're right. I do think that Infinity War is a better movie, but we had a ball watching Endgame, right?
Endgame was like better received in the sense that
it had the moments like
And
the minute that Captain America grabbed the hammer, right?
Yeah.
Mjolnir, that is a moment. The minute we've been waiting 10 years for Captain America to say Avengers Assemble, and it happened in that movie, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right.
First time I watched Endgame, I literally had almost a heart attack. That's how insane it was.
yeah, it had
going on.
a lot of iconic moments. Yeah. More so than any of the MCU films. So I think that's why a lot of people put Endgame right up there because they remember, being in the movie theater and hearing the crowd just go crazy when Steve Rogers said, "Avengers Assemble," and the whole place just loses it, right?
Yeah.
So those are the things that really elevates Endgame. But in terms of No Way Home, it is it's probably I will say this, it's the best Spider-Man movie we've ever gotten.
For sure.
That's
on every level.
easily something
All
I
right,
can
yeah.
say.
Z plus.
And
that's even a thing.
It even surpasses my personal favorite, which is Spider-Man 2 with Dr. Octopus. That was my number one Spidey movie.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. For me, it's a tie between 1 and 3.
The first one?
Yeah.
With Green Goblin?
Yeah.
I think the first one with Green Goblin.
Without the first one with Green Goblin, you wouldn't got the Green Goblin you got now. Get
That's
out of
true.
here.
I think Green Goblin had probably the better villain, but I think and again, this is just my thoughts. I think Spider-Man 2 had the better story, and it flowed a little bit better. But you know what? It doesn't matter. They're both really really excellent. But I think this one far surpasses any of those. But I'm with AJ. It's not a perfect film because, especially in the middle.
Wait.
You're with Eli.
Eli. I'm sorry. I take that back. Sorry, AJ. I know you think it's a perfect film. Eli doesn't think it's a perfect film. And the reason that I say it is because there are some moments in the middle where it kind of lags a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, especially the part where they're going all science with everybody trying to kind of noodle the problem of the villains.
Yeah.
Right. But that's being said, that's what I believe. That's our early impressions. I think we all agree that it was an awesome movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We are maybe about 30 to 40 minutes into this podcast. And I'm going to say for everybody that's out there that doesn't want to get spoiled, that hasn't had the opportunity to get tickets because there are literally no tickets anywhere to get, this is a good time for you to go and pause this podcast, go watch the movie, and then come back to the podcast because we are now getting into spoiler territory. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Spoiling.
the curtain has come up, right? We are getting into spoilers, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So, what is the first thing you guys want to talk about?
Okay.
I know. There is so much to talk about in this film because there's a lot of fan service in this film also.
Yeah, for sure.
Tons of it.
Definitely.
Go for it.
Where do we start with this?
Yeah, it's hard.
What about the first villain appearance? Like, tell me not that it was pretty cool seeing Otto. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even expect this, but like somehow, some way, Dr. Octopus was able to manipulate the nanotechnology on his suit and make it his own. I was like, whoa, wait, what? You can do that? What?
We're talking about Spider-Man.
No, Octopus.
Remember, he took the
nanotechnology and incorporated it into the arms.
I was kind of weirded out by that.
I think that is not exactly what happened. I think what happened was he ripped it out and the nanotechnology embedded himself because it's kind of like one of those things. It's like a shirt. When you put on a shirt, you're putting on the shirt, right? So he ripped it off from Spider-Man and it kind of went on him, you know?
Okay.
And I think that I think the nanotechnology was eventually, that's how, what happened.
Yeah, we know
right?
what happened. But.
So I think it was just a coincidence that it was on there, and it took a while for Peter to figure out, oh, I can do this with this.
Yeah, that was,
you know what I'm saying?
Honestly, that scene was kind of cool with like, and especially like Spider-Man starting to like manipulate it so that Doc Ock was in control. That was sick. Oh my God.
Let's frame what exactly happened before that, and let's just give a quick synopsis of what happened. So in the previous movie, Far From Home, Peter Parker was outed by Mysterio and J. Jonah Jameson, who took pleasure in outing him, right?
Oh my God.
So he's outed, and now the entire world knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he's got to deal with the fallout of it. And it gets to the point, right, where they go out and they're trying to apply for colleges, and the particular college that they want to go to, MIT, doesn't want to deal with the circus that is Peter Parker. So both him, MJ, and Ned Leeds, his best friend, they all get rejected because of Peter Parker's notoriety. And that kind of drives him to Doctor Strange to see if he can create a spell to make everybody forget that he is Spider-Man. Okay? And that leads to a lot of shenanigans and all that stuff. But basically, long story short, because Peter Parker can't shut up, he messes up the spell, and instead of people forgetting that he's Spider-Man, what happens is that the spell draws people who know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man to his dimension, and that opens up the multiverse in this movie. So that's how we got Doc Ock, right? Doc Ock is coming from the Tobey Maguire universe, because he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So the spell brings him in, right? But it also brings other people.
It brings the Lizard. It brings Electro. It brings Sandman, and it brings the greatest of all time,
Green
Goblin.
Green Goblin, yes.
But it also brings
Someone we don't even get to see to the end. I'm not even going to dignify it right now.
Wait, who?
okay.
What?
I'm not sure. I was thinking about two other people that it brought in.
Oh, okay. Well, you want to
What are you
talk about?
talking
Yeah,
about?
you could include those.
Okay, so it does bring Tobey Maguire's
Yeah.
Spider-Man,
Yes.
and it also brings I always forget this kid's name.
Andrew Garfield.
Thank you, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, who I thought he was probably the best Spider-Man out of the two, in terms of this movie.
Who?
Okay.
In
All right.
terms of
Well,
this
yeah.
movie.
He
He really killed it.
All
Like he
right.
was really funny.
Wait, who again?
Andrew Garfield
Yeah,
Spider-Man
Andrews was surprisingly much better than the
than the
his
original movie,
yeah,
right?
Than the original one. For him.
Put him in the MCU and he gets that much better, right?
Yeah.
But he was probably, in terms of, Tobey Maguire was awesome, but he played a different role. Like he played a more mature, a battle weary Spider-Man and stuff like that. Where
old man Peter.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Andrew Garfield, he's still struggling with his kind of failures and defeats, which both of them were. But it seemed like it impacted Andrew Garfield's character way more than it did Toby, right?
Yeah.
Like he was still struggling with some of the decisions and some of the things that happened in his movies, because he got two, right? So it brought all those guys in, and we don't get the reveal of the two Spider-Mans until almost past midway of the movie, right?
Yeah,
when Ned finds out he's magic.
Yes. Cutscene. Oh, Ned the God.
No, it's gonna be Ned Supreme.
Ned Supreme.
Yes.
They need to do that in the multiverse. Yes, he's the God Killer.
So I got a question for you though, and this is a quote unquote, I guess, plot hole, or what have you?
Yeah.
Everybody's been brought in because they know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Okay.
When did Electro find out?
I don't remember the movie that well.
He never did. He never knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Are you sure?
I am 100% positive.
Well, what if he came from a universe where he did know?
Then that would be sort of
But
weird.
Andrew Garfield knew Electro, and they both knew each other.
Did Electro?
They came from the same universe. So that's the only thing. And when did Doc Ock meet Norman Osborn? Because
he still
wasn't
knows
clear.
of him. No.
So he knows of him, but they're not personal friends. Then I guess, right?
No, what probably happened is like one of those things. They're both respected scientists. You probably run into them in like a science convention or something.
Okay. It just seemed like
not
the
like a deeply
relationship,
personal relationship.
but it did seem that way at some point, right? When they were talking, right?
Once you find out what he became, you kind of feel that sympathy.
But the Electro thing is the one that bothers me, right? Because Electro does not know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Huh.
Okay, so that's the one thing that I would say that they kind of messed up,
Okay.
But anyway, so I think though the way they brought all the villains, the Sinister Five, right, or the Fearful Five.
Okay.
Ooh,
the
right?
Fearful Five.
If it's not the Sinister Six, it's the Fearful Five. Let's do it that way, right?
Hey,
actually like that.
Kind of smooth.
Yeah. So you got the Fearful Five, trademark pending. And they were all pretty good. I think the one that had the least to do was Lizard.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because he's
between Lizard and Electro, I think those. Well, you know what? I take that back because Electro
had
did
a lot
have.
to do.
Yeah, he had a lot to do.
Of Sandman, you're thinking?
Sandman, yes. Sandman was there. Then
because
he
only
gone
had really
for the rest of the movie.
one purpose.
But Doc Ock was also like he disappeared off the face of the map for a good majority of the movie. Like,
not as much as Sandman.
Obviously, Sandman was like the most, but like also Doc Ock too. I would say Doc Ock also disappeared too.
So did Green Goblin.
Well,
Green
Goblin, there's a reason for that.
What was he doing the entire time again?
Again, the reason for that was
He's
because
schizo. Yeah, he's got a split personality. So
no.
Norman took control for a good long while, and so he wasn't doing goblin things. He only started doing goblin things until they got to the lab.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, true.
You know, but I think they did a really good job with taking all these villains and kind of incorporating into a film. And I know what I'm going to say is going to probably anger AJ, but I think that's one of the things that Spider-Man 3 did not do well, was having, because the argument there was too many villains and you couldn't really kind of get to know them. But I will say this.
But here's my rebuttal to that. You already got to know Harry in the past two
I know,
films.
and that's what I was just about to say. Spider-Man No Way Home had the advantage that we already got to know these characters in
Yeah.
previous films. So I will say that kind of in defense of Spider-Man 3, that they didn't have to introduce villains into this one and tell their backstories and all that stuff, because we've already seen the previous films, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the guy that stands out is Willem Dafoe's characterization of Norman Osborn.
Green Goblin could fight. I did not expect him to throw
Yeah.
down like that.
Well, he is enhanced, right?
I mean, I know, but I just never noticed it. I mean, it was really not as noticeable in like the very first movie, but here it was like, oh my god.
Yeah. In the other movies, he was. I'm not gonna say he was a wimp, but he was.
Well,
he
he
mainly
used-
relied
never
on it.
really. Yeah, it was mostly the glider.
Yeah.
he
so-
used his technology to his advantage.
Why?
That was his kind of fighting style, right?
Why
Yeah.
if he had those skills, why did he even need that? That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, he could have beaten Toby, right?
Well, Toby is super strong. you know.
Yeah,
I think,
although I'd argue Tom Holland's Spider-Man is a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
but I will say this. I think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man has more experience than Tom
Yeah.
Holland, and Tom Holland hasn't really he hasn't really reached the peak of what he can do. He doesn't know the potential that he has, right? He's kind of like brushed the surface, but he's learning every day. I mean, he is still just graduating high school, so he's like super young, you know. Whereas Tobey Maguire, he was already working in the Daily Bugle.
Well, I
At
mean,
the time.
by the time Spider-Man 1 ends, he is working with the Daily Bugle, but he was also fresh out of high school then too.
Was it high school or college?
It was high school.
It was high school. Okay.
And then the next two movies are college.
Okay, so there you go. But yeah, Green Goblin was amazing in this film.
Yeah.
You know.
One of the highlights of the movie. Really.
Now, let me ask you this. So the premise is, and this is such a Spider-Man thing for him to do, right? And you even mentioned that. Tom Holland, once he realizes that he gets help from Doctor Strange in kind of imprisoning the fearful five, right?
Yeah.
But then he realizes something that he didn't realize before, was that Doctor Strange tells him they all get killed by the Spider-Man in their universes, right? So, you know, Lizard dies at the end of
Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Electro dies in Spider-Man 2.
I don't remember that,
Amazing.
but I'll take that.
Yeah, I think so. And definitely Doc Ock sacrifices himself, but he dies.
Green Goblin's kind of tragic.
Yeah.
Toby was probably this close to getting him to stand down, but obviously Gobby couldn't have that. So he actually ended up killing himself in trying to kill Spider-Man with his own glider.
So there's kind of like, you know, it's funny because the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, they're all tragic individuals, you know. Not so much in the Amazing Spider-Man series, although they do have some flaws, but they're not as pronounced as the Tobey Maguire verse. But when Tom Holland finds out, he actually fights Doctor Strange, and wins. He beats Doctor
That
Strange.
was
right?
surprising.
To stop him from sending them back because he basically wants to rehabilitate them, which is an
Yeah, that is a Spider-Man.
that is a Spider-Man thing to do. That's a Peter Parker thing to do. You know, he's very empathetic, and you know that's perfect. You know, but it was surprising to see it was cool though.
Yeah,
The fight between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange,
especially how like they were in like the mirror world and how they
Mirror
manipulated
dimension.
everything. That was like kind of sick.
Not even. I'm not gonna. I still can't get over the fact that Spider-Man beat Doctor Strange with math.
But again, a Peter Parker thing to do, right?
Yeah, I get it.
And that's something that we haven't seen in the MCU Tom Holland verse, right? Tom Holland and Tom Holland's Peter Parker actually be nerdy and super smart about things, you know. Right, and right now we've kind of seen the emotional side of Peter Parker, but we haven't seen the scientific part of Peter Parker.
But we
which
have
is
that in this movie.
I know we had it in spades in this movie, which is awesome. You know, that's why I feel, and I mentioned this in our other podcast, Tom Holland's character has now become really the definitive Spider-Man because he encompasses everything that Spider-Man has and will ever be in the comics and beyond. You know, he's the perfect Spider-Man. But yeah, he beats Doctor Strange with math, which is
sick.
awesome, right?
Sick.
Again, a Peter Parker thing to do, right?
Yeah.
So, rehabilitating the Fearful Five.
That was very touch and go.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there was, but I appreciated as much as that segment kind of dragged for me. At the same time, I appreciated watching Otto Octavius, which Peter Parker laughed at when they told him his name. He was like, "No, seriously, what's your name?" You know. But I appreciated the interaction that he had with, you know, Norman Osborn, trying to noodle the problem out, right? And that was really cool. You know, you see him kind of messing around and trying to figure things out and stuff like that. And so he kind of does it, but
and we finally get the full out spider sense. Like they never really harped on it in like the past two movies, but they really, that was a linchpin in this movie with Tom Holland.
That spider sense sequence was
when in the lab, that was tense as hell.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah,
it's like I'm feeling something, and it's like, oh God, who could it be?
Well, I thought it was gonna be like somebody else, but then it
was always gonna be Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. So.
Yeah, I think they were kind of alluding to it in a sense, right?
Yeah, I know.
You know, but it, like you said, it was a very suspenseful, intense scene when he walks out and he realized something's about to go down, and he just doesn't know exactly where it comes from until the very last second, right? But yeah, so you know, the instant that Gabi goes Gabi, right? And you've always had Electro. He's kind of the guy that I found really interesting because, first of all, they fixed Electro.
Thank God.
I hate to say it, Electro was trash in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
You know, his design over there was not good, and they kind of alluded to it by saying, "Hey, I'm not blue anymore." You know. So I like the self-awareness, and you did have instances where you saw the classic Electro suit made up of pure electricity.
That was sick.
But he's like the one guy that was always kind of shady to begin with in that movie. He was like openly shady, right?
Yeah.
Like Gabi was playing, you know, hide and seek with the, you know, the Scooby-Doo gang of Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
But Electro was always like, oh my gosh, the power in this universe. I need to take it. I need to take over. Could all be mine. Like he literally was put straight up.
He was the Killmonger of this
exactly.
movie.
He was like, I can take this, you know? And toward the very end, especially when he saw the arc reactor.
Oh,
My gosh.
Yeah,
Un-
he's like, screw it, I'm done with
That
it.
was like the Palpatine.
Unlimited power.
That was the Palpatine moment right there, where it's like, oh snap, yo, I can do some things with this thing, you know.
Gosh,
Lizard again, kind of
not there.
not there.
I mean, he was a lizard in the other universe to begin with. Was very. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say stale.
But I was expecting to see.
I'm a lizard. I'm gonna make everyone into a lizard.
and they kind of made fun of him in this movie,
Yeah,
right?
that was sick.
He was like, "Oh, the dinosaur talks."
Oh my God.
You know. So you had a couple of those moments also. So I think the portrayal of Lizard and Sandman, particularly Sandman, I thought would and could have played a bigger role on the side of the Spidey team. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You know, because he always was that guy where it's like, again, going back to the Toby universe, right? The tragic figure of a guy who really is a good guy at heart, but circumstances has thrown him to do bad things, you know? So I thought that he could have played more of a role on the Spidey side, but apparently they chose not to do that, and he ended up.
But it kind of makes sense, though.
It
really
does in a
does.
way, you know, because he wanted just to go home, you know.
The
and
way they did it, it felt like he was just. It wasn't really his choice. It
So-
felt like
Yeah. So the whole thing with Sandman is that, you know, he's not a real bad guy, and he actually helps Tom Holland, you know. But the thing about it is that and even with the reasoning it has, I still find it kind of sus because he knows he's going back to die.
But he doesn't die, though.
Well, but the implication, remember, Doctor Strange says these people die at the hands of Spider-Man. Now I know you're going to say he lived in Spider-Man 3, right? But he doesn't know that. Because remember, they're pulled out of the universe before the events happen. So Octavius doesn't know that he's about to die. And in his verse, right, at the time that he's pulled out, Norman Osborn is dead. So he knows that he's going to die. So it kind of lends that whole thing where it's like, well, everybody of these guys know that they're going to die. Otto knows of the fact that one of the guys died. So it stands to reason that Marcus, right, that's Sandman's character's
His
name, right?
is
Markham.
No, it's God. Flint Marco.
Yeah, Flint Marco, right?
Mhm.
It stands to reason that, you know what, if all of these guys are going to die, I'm probably going to go back and die as well, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't care about that.
But that's the
True.
thing. So let me put it to you this way. You have a chance of fixing everything in this universe and going back to your universe and living, which would give him more time with his daughter,
Okay.
as opposed to let me steal the box and go home now and see my daughter, but know that I'm going to die.
yeah.
But
It really just felt
I
like-
still don't agree with that because by the
Everything felt super
With him, it was weird. With him, it was weird.
I'll give you it was a little
Yeah.
weird, but I can
But-
still see it.
with
No,
Sandman,
I know. There's the emotional part. Yes, Eli, you were going to say something.
No, I'm just gonna say with Sandman, like everything didn't feel like his choice. Like from the start, he was like that dude he's like the dude who's like in a conversation, has no idea what's going on, but is just saying, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
exactly.
He really didn't have any choice in anything. He was just still doing exactly nothing except for, oh, I'm just gonna do this because it feels right.
Like there was only one point where when he was helping Tom Holland fight Electro and capture him, that he stopped and said, wait a second. Right? Wasn't there a point where he's like, you're not my Spider-Man, and he was going to actually fight him and stuff? That was
Yeah.
like the only part that, to your point, Eli, he did have a choice, right? And
Yeah.
he was actually acting. He was like, wait a second, I don't know you. What are you gonna do? But then everything after that, it felt like
People were making choices for him.
no, I think even to take it a step further, I think the script and the plot was making choices for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
There
saying?
You go.
And so he's like the only one out of the fearsome five, the fearful five, right? That felt that way. You know,
Yeah.
everybody else, although Lizard, he was a throwaway character. He was just there to complete the fivesome, right? But he was the one that I think, for me, in terms of the characters of the villains, was the most problematic because he went where the story forced him to go. You know, as opposed to the other guys where they had very believable and credible choices that they made. You know, so there's that. So I think we can all agree Green Goblin was the best out of all of them, right?
Hell yeah.
Oh my
Especially that.
God.
Oh my gosh, he was
He
crazy.
is Marvel's own brand of the Joker.
He was the
Yeah.
MVP of this movie.
For sure. On
Okay.
every level, he was the main highlight. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
what
Let's
do we
talk
get into now?
Well, before we get into the really important part, I do have to give a shout out to my man Matt Murdock.
Hey.
Oh, that was such a welcome
Bro.
surprise.
Oh my God, that scene literally had me like, what the hell? He's here. I'm surprised. Oh my God. No, that was just so sick.
That was a fun little scene.
Yeah, and it made sense. It wasn't like he was just a random Easter egg. Like
it was a little. I hate to say it. I had this spoiled months ago because they did drop. Because remember, in the trailer, they showed Spidey talking to a lawyer. Come on. That there was only one lawyer.
It didn't
in the
need
MCU.
to be him though.
But you couldn't infer.
Everybody was saying Murdoch was going to be in the film, and
I'm
true to
glad I
form,
didn't catch on
that's
to that.
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like the whole Kingpin moment in episode 2 of Hawkeye, where all you see is the hand. You know that's Kingpin.
Yeah, come on.
Right? Like I told you instantly when that happened, that's Kingpin.
Yeah.
Right? So it was kind of that moment in the trailers where they dropped it. And again, so that was an awesome moment. It was a fun scene. And I liked the fact that at that moment, somebody decided to throw a brick through the window.
Oh my God.
And he caught it. And, you know, Peter Parker was like,
how'd you do that?
Yeah, that
He's
was
like,
sick.
I'm a very good lawyer. You know? So that was like a super, super fun little scene there. But the real draw of this movie was the 3 Spider-Man meme.
Yes.
Oh, at the very end.
So, you know, no, it was during the
middle.
During the middle of the thing when they were trying to workshop the
things,
that where Ned goes around and he was like, Peter, and he's like, you, me, you. It was like a variation of the 3 Spider-Man.
I didn't even notice that, but okay, yeah.
That was literally that. Did you also notice, by the way, just before we get into it, the very end where he's swinging?
Yeah, he had I said it. He had a different suit.
Well, it's not even that. Some of the swings were from the video game.
Oh, I didn't catch on.
I didn't
know that.
Yeah, some of the swings they mimic some of the swings that are in the video game for the movie. So just a fun little Easter egg there.
Okay.
Spider-Man's new suit looks
it's very shiny.
But it's like
it reminds me of the original Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, it does.
It's very faithful to the original Spider-Man suit. But let's talk about the 3 Spider-Mans, because that's really the thing that everybody was looking forward to, right?
The interplay between them was just so funny. Like, even though they could be morbid, like just the whole thing with Ned, and he's like, "Oh, do you have a best friend too?" Yeah, I did. He tried to kill me, but and that was only, well, no, he died, but that wasn't before he killed me. And and then Ned randomly walks up to Peter Parker somewhere later and is like, "Dude, I promise I'm going to be the best friend to you in all the world, and I'm not going to try and kill you."
Well, you do know what.
Yes, I know. Hobgoblin.
So is that foreshadowing?
Wait, for real?
Yeah, Ned Leeds
Leeds.
is the alter ego to Hobgoblin.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. Are we
no.
foreshadowing maybe the arrival of Hobgoblin here?
A
don't
magical
I don't
Hobgoblin.
want
Yes.
Ned to
You
die.
know.
I don't
He
want
doesn't
Ned
need to die.
I don't want Ned to go evil though. Oh my god.
I can't see a way that they make him evil at this point.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
really, really
see that'd be
difficult.
really weird.
Son,
Yeah.
he'd be an ally, an
Well,
anti.
maybe he's a magical
Yeah,
hobgoblin, and the magic drives him crazy.
that'd be sick. That'd honestly be
But
awesome.
but there might be a way, but we have to talk about it afterwards because we have
Okay,
to. But let's talk about the 3 Spider-Man. They were awesome. I think one of the best conversations in the whole entire movie was actually with 2 Spider-Man.
Yeah,
When they were
Sure.
talking about and this is a reference to the Tobey Maguire universe. Tobey Maguire's back.
Ow,
Oh.
my back. Yes.
I don't.
Okay,
That's
so
what I mean.
Get it?
let's go back to 1990, the 1990s when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans came out.
Okay.
During filming of Spider-Man 2, I believe, he actually did hurt his back.
Oh.
He hurt his back to the point where they were literally thinking that he had to drop out, and they were actively, like, the people that were in the know were looking for people to take over for and you know, they were going to recast Spider-Man. That's how bad it was, you know. Interestingly enough, Jake Gyllenhaal was one of the people that could have potentially have been Spider-Man.
Wow. That would have been
Damn.
wild.
Yeah.
So you had that, and they did reference in Spider-Man 2 because remember, he loses his web shooting ability and he falls and hits his on the way down. He smashes into a car and he goes, "Oh, my back."
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
that meme.
So it rolls back into No Way Home where they're talking about the back, and then you have that awesome scene of Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker trying to crack Tobey Maguire's back. Right?
Okay.
Wow, that
And he's
is
like,
amazing.
"Wow, that's amazing. That feels great." You know?
Oh my
So
God,
Okay.
that was amazing.
so there you have that. You know, you had that really, really awesome interplay between the two. And I thought, and again, this is my personal thing, Andrew Garfield just killed it as Spider-Man.
For sure.
I mean, you know, he was funny, he was insightful, he was emotional.
It was sort of awkward in some places,
But
but
that's
who
that's
he
what
is.
that's
He
the
is.
embodiment. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what Spider-Man.
Like I said,
yeah,
No Way Home did a better job of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man
for sure.
than the actual movies did for him.
Yeah,
You know?
and yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna say he was the best Spider-Man of this movie, but he runs pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the scene where it was recreating the death scene of Gwen Stacy.
Oh, that hit hard.
That was an amazing. I mean, I got goosebumps
Yeah.
after that because what happens is that just like in Amazing Spider-Man 2, MJ is falling from a
Gwen.
height. Huh?
Gwen Stacy.
No, I'm talking about MJ in this movie.
Oh, okay.
Right? MJ falls from a height, and it's Tom Holland that has to do the dive to try and rescue him, much like Andrew Garfield and Gwen Stacy's character, right? In Amazing Spider-Man 2, he's unable to save Gwen Stacy, right? Because he shoots the web too late and her head hits the ground,
Concrete.
right?
Yeah.
And in this case, Tom Holland is now diving to try and save MJ, and he gets taken away by a goblin and the glider mid-flight. And so MJ is falling, and and like I said, I'm getting goosebumps and just, you know, verklempt just thinking about it. It's Andrew Garfield's character that saves MJ, and it was just an amazing job because he's holding MJ and you just see him break down, you know, because it's like, you know what? There's a part of him that says, you know, this is my redemption, but then there's also that
Why couldn't I do this for Gwen?
exactly. It was that regret that why didn't I do this? Then it was that hit hard.
Yeah.
You know, that was like a
Tough.
gut punch.
That's
You know,
tough.
but those guys were amazing. You know, and the whole talk of the web shooters.
Yes.
So what is it like? Come out of a hole? Does it come out of other places?
Oh my god, that is horrible. That is horrible. Damn.
Bro.
That was amazing. That really was.
Yeah.
So let's get to the end of the film because we're up against it. So eventually there's this really big emotional fight between Tom Holland's and Peter Parker and Green Goblin, which we even neglected to mention.
Yeah.
Aunt May.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh.
She got the
Oh,
Uncle Ben treatment.
Which I think in a way, and this is gonna sound weird, I think in a way was needed.
Yeah.
Because Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker, we haven't seen
him suffer.
Right. We haven't seen the personal loss and how it affects him. And really that's a big thing about Spider-Man, because in all the other versions, it's the loss, his personal loss, that changes him to become the Spider-Man he needs to be. Right. And I think that's what happened in this one too. And it took 3 movies to get there. And damn you, Sony and Marvel Studios, for having it happen with Aunt May in the way that they did it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Because
my God.
they gave us hope that, you know, we saw her get hurt, but there was
it didn't look like it was bad.
Yeah, there was always that hope that she was gonna walk out of there. And then to have it happen the way it did, and not only that, to have it happen where he had to leave her.
Oh,
That was like
yeah.
that was like devastating, you know?
That was horrible. Damn.
All because of Green Goblin.
Oh my God.
Right?
I like how it's kind of weird, but I like how they recreated this scene where because in Spider-Man 3, Harry Osborn tries to throw a bomb at him and it goes, nope, take it back.
Mhm.
And it's right next to her face and it goes.
Mm.
I kind of like how they recreated that next to the face scene, although his face should have been a little more torn up.
Yeah.
Given what, if you saw Spider-Man 3 and you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
Harry
I know.
Osborn
It
got
ripped.
messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it happened to Spider-Man also, right? Because remember there was the point where he had
Oh yeah,
the
just
things
a little,
ripped out
yeah.
also. So
But like, even it was still next to his face.
I know.
That's
It
so
was
weird.
but it was just devastating to see what happened to Aunt May in this movie. And, you know, the repercussions of that led to the final fight because, you know, the 2 Spider-Mans, the 2 elder Spider-Men, one of the biggest points that they were trying to make to Tom Holland's version was that, you know what, revenge is never going to help you with this. You know, like you may go out there and, you know, we have these darker tendencies and stuff, but at the very end of the day, it doesn't do anything for you. And I think Tom Holland was kind of with that until he was face to face with Green Goblin. And Green Goblin kind of like just goading him on, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what Green Goblin does, right?
He was about to kill him too.
Mhm.
Like he was not lost with irony. He literally, because he heard that, I'm assuming he heard that he was killed with his glider. He literally took that thing and he was about to impale him with it.
Yeah, I know. Just like in Tobey Maguire.
Yep.
In the Maguire verse.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was.
And here's another plot hole that I have, right?
Mhm.
And this is I find interesting, right? Tom Holland's version is about to deliver the death blow because he's beaten down Green Goblin, and Green Goblin is down and out and on the floor, and he's about to take the glider from a position of strength above him and just bring it right down and kill him, right? And the person that stops him is Tobey Maguire. and Tobey Maguire holds that thing, and Tom Holland is dead set against it, and he really just wants to deliver the blow. And then there comes a point where he realizes, okay, maybe that's not what I should do. But then Tobey Maguire gets stabbed by Green Goblin.
I know, but he was standing there way too long, and I just, it was like so easily seen coming, like he was just literally like there.
But this is a plot hole that I have, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't Tobey Maguire's spider sense go off?
Yeah,
Right.
We had an
Right.
entire scene of of Tom Holland utilizing it visually in a great way, what spider sense feels like and what it looks like, right? What happened with Toby?
Yeah, all right. That's a little bit of a plot hole. I'll give you that, but I don't know. It still
Yeah.
felt fitting because if Green Goblin's gonna have a chance, he's gonna take it.
But I don't know though. Why didn't it go off? Like he should have seen that coming. That's the whole point of his Spidey.
Okay, but
sense.
then what was he gonna do? He was gonna let it go, and then Tom is still bearing down, and it's gonna kill him.
That would have been cool.
You
A
think that
sacrifice.
would have been cool, but
Oh,
that's not
a
the Spider-Man
sacrifice.
way.
No, yeah, I know. But he could have gotten out of. He could have told. They both should have gotten the Spidey sense. That would have made more sense.
Okay, well, yeah,
Right?
All right,
And
all right.
That would have
all
been
right.
so much more
All right.
dramatic too. But anyway, after that, they have the whole. What comes after that?
Well, they very forcefully and brutally give him that cure.
Oh yeah, and not to mention,
Oh yeah, and
Strange
Doctor
is-
Strange is back, and the universe is
Falling apart.
completely
apart.
unraveling. And you see, I don't know, maybe you see a little bit of Kraven the Hunter, maybe you see a little bit of the Rhino too, and it's the original looking Rhino too. It's not like
Yeah, not
the stupid one.
yes,
the one from
it's the man in the Rhino suit.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
in that one he wasn't the man in the Rhino suit. He was the man in the Rhino mech suit.
Yeah,
Oh Jesus, that is disgusting.
that was weird.
But anyway,
But
Wow.
we got a pretty good resolution to this because they eventually cure all of the villains, right? But then at this point, and this is where I want to end with this.
Yeah.
Spidey has to make a choice.
oh man, that was, I don't know, that was sort of weird for me. But yeah, continue.
So Doctor Strange has lost. So in the beginning, Doctor Strange is able to contain the spell from doing further damage. So, these villains come from, the multiverse and stuff like that, but he's able to contain it. He has a very specific cube that holds the thing together.
The Allspark.
Yeah,
Yes.
it did look like it, right?
A little
Yeah.
bit.
But unfortunately, with all the shenanigans that was going in the last battle, it does break and the spell goes rampant.
I don't not just by anyone, but by the main man, Green Goblin.
Yes. So the spell goes rampant, and Doctor Strange is having a lot of problems trying to contain it. And we're looking at the breaking down of the universes and stuff, right? Where everything is kind of like melding. People are coming through and all this stuff, and everybody that knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man is coming through, and that's a total disaster on a multiversal level and stuff.
Yeah.
So Spidey does what Spidey does, and he says, "You know what? Make everybody forget."
How did that solve it though?
So the problem is,
It's
before-
drawing in people who know Peter Parker,
right?
Mm,
and
yeah.
he's at the center. If you remove the center, there's no need for any of those things to be drawn in.
So the difference between the initial spell and this spell was the initial spell was to make people forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And the mistake that was made was that everybody that knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man is coming in. The resolution to that was to make everybody forget about Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So basically, everybody would still remember Spider-Man, right? but nobody would even know that Peter Parker would exist. So it's you're kind of wiping Peter Parker out of existence in a way, you know, which brings me to my last set of plot holes here. Okay.
Okay.
So eventually, you know, Doctor Strange is saying, no, you know, because Doctor Strange grows to have an affinity for Peter Parker. You know, as much as Peter Parker is a screw up in this film.
Oh my God. No.
Right?
I'm sorry, but just really quickly, I have to mention this. I love the line where he goes, okay, wait a minute. You didn't get into the school. You didn't think to reach out to the dean to plead your case before coming to me to do a universe-altering spell.
Wait, you can do that?
Oh my God, that was amazing.
But that shows how naive Tom Holland is in the movie as Peter Parker, right? He doesn't think to maybe call somebody and say, hey, can you change it, right?
Yeah.
But that leads to this. And so Doctor Strange has an affinity. He's trying to actually talk him out of it, but then he does kind of realize, hey, guess what? This is probably for the best, right? So that's what happens. There's an emotional goodbye that's said between the three Spider-Men, but especially, you know, the really big gut punches between Ned and MJ, right? Michelle.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing where it's like, you know, it was difficult. Now here's where it is, because afterwards we see the ramifications to that. You know, we see Peter Parker, he has to now find a job, right? He doesn't, you know, nobody knows who he is, you know. He goes and visits his aunt's grave, right? And there he meets Happy Hogan. Now Happy Hogan had been in a relationship with Aunt May, and they broke up, right? But Happy Hogan he wanted the relationship to continue. Aunt May was the one who was like, you know what, maybe this is not the best thing for us, right? Plot hole that I have on that one, the way that Happy Hogan met Aunt May was through Peter Parker. So how does he know Aunt May if he's never met Peter Parker? Right? Because he literally is standing there with Peter Parker at the grave and has no recollection of him at all, and even says, how do you know her? And he can't say, well, she's my aunt, you know. So again, how does Happy Hogan know of Aunt May and have that emotional connection with Aunt May if he never met her, because he met her through Peter Parker?
Wait. Also, is Happy Hogan the one who initiated the line, did you know her by Spider-Man?
No, that was Peter. That was Peter who said, I knew her through Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, if he asked that question first, I don't know.
So there you have it. Because let's put it this way: if Happy Hogan met her through Spider-Man, it still wouldn't have brought him to Aunt May, because the only reason that they would is if Aunt May knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. So how do they know each other?
Yeah.
All right, that is a little weird.
Okay.
Very weird.
The second plot point that I have, and this is something that is kind of egregious in the fact that they missed this, right?
Okay.
Or maybe there is a reason why they're doing this. When Peter Parker goes and visits the cafe that, or the diner that MJ is working. Okay. And again, a very touching and gut-punching scene, because you see him kind of reciting the lines, and he's like, okay, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to reintroduce myself to MJ, blah, blah, this and that. And because of the things that happen in the diner, it doesn't happen. And not to mention, cool callback to Spider-Man 2, where MJ was a waitress in the diner also, right? So in this one, MJ is also a waitress in the diner / whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
In Far From Home, Peter Parker gave her a trinket, a necklace.
Okay.
Right? They didn't mention it again in No Way Home. okay, at the very beginning of the movie. If you look carefully in that scene when she's talking to Peter Parker, she has it on her and she's wearing it. Peter Parker gave her that necklace. How is it that she's wearing it?
Maybe she just.
Well, it's not like, again, he's not being completely erased from the timeline.
Peter Parker is.
No, only in memory.
Yeah. in terms of
Not.
memory.
It's not like a Thanos thing where it's like Peter Parker no longer exists. Boom.
So
now
you're
everything
saying,
that Peter Parker has done, none of it counts for anything. For that
Okay.
matter, Mysterio should be back, but he's not.
okay.
Yeah.
So what we're okay. So you know what? I haven't thought about it in that respect. So what you're saying is that everything that's happened has happened.
It's just nobody,
nobody
remembers
remembers.
at
That-
all
it's a-
that Peter Parker.
That's weird.
It's just
very
that-
wishy-washy for me.
The thing is, in Doctor Strange probably should have mentioned it a little better, but he said it will be as if you never existed. Not that you never did exist. It will be
But-
as if you had never
like I said,
existed.
it's still very wishy-washy because then there's a lot of places where Peter Parker are needed for those roles, and how exactly is it that people
What?
just forgot?
Like people
Right.
that have interacted with Peter Parker. And here's a perfect example. The injury, the cut that MJ had over her eye in the diner, which was directly attributed to the fact that she was helping Peter fight off the fearful five, right?
Mhm.
How do you reconcile that not knowing
Well,
Peter?
You could
Right?
just say that
You
that was a
just
random
thought you
cut,
got
but,
hit on the head somehow,
but maybe
and you don't remember how.
But for something,
But then a lot of people have a lot of gaps in memory because
Yeah.
you're talking about, when they were actively helping.
Well, yeah, that's kind of just
Those
just
were
how it
days.
is.
So they're missing days and weeks
yeah.
of interaction with Peter.
How
In
did
comparison to some people using 5 years, that's kind of nothing.
How did Mysterio go missing?
Well, he was fighting Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So Spider-Man, everybody remembers. It's Peter that people don't remember.
But
You know,
Yeah.
still, there's a lot of places that
that Peter interacted with. Like there's all those people are going to have huge gaps in remembering. Well, who are these people?
that's
and
gonna
stuff,
cause
right?
Yeah,
That's weird.
That's very wishy-washy for me.
So, but anyway, you know what? In Feige we trust, and I hope that they'll kind of, address that in future things. So that's the end of the movie. He's starting a life as a Peter Parker that nobody like. Does he even have driver's license records? Like,
Not anymore. I would. Well, maybe he still does. It's just that
He had his
that's
boxes.
weird. I don't know.
how does he get a job if he doesn't have? Well, no, the high school thing we saw because he's getting his GED, so he's got to do high school all over again, basically. Because he doesn't have a
Yeah.
diploma.
And nobody knows he existed. Therefore, technically, his ID shouldn't.
Yeah.
Wait,
Does
is he still in the system?
Well, I
Well,
don't know, right? That's
Peter
the question.
Parker would still be in the system theoretically. It's just there would be no way to prove it. I don't know.
That is very, very weird. There's a lot of questions we have with that and how that works.
So just he's there in the system. Just people.
So
completely
his
forgot about
photo-
it.
Just a complete disconnect.
So
Yeah.
is the photo ID blank?
No, that's not. No,
Peter
That's
Parker.
not-
That
Right?
connects
No.
to.
Because you wouldn't remember taking a picture of him, would you? Right?
Hold on. Peter Parker connects to Aunt May because Aunt May is.
Okay.
Did she just never know
What?
that
No.
he was her? Yeah. So that's still really weird
As
because
far as-
nobody knows that he exists
Well-
as Aunt May's son. So isn't that sort of?
I don't think
weird?
that. I think Aunt May is a peculiar case because she's dead.
No. But
So it's not like she can be affected by the spell.
No,
She's
no.
not there.
that's not what I'm saying.
But Happy Hogan was there for a lot of the time, so
Wait,
you
no,
know.
Okay,
hold on. What I'm saying is, I'm getting confused with this. If people check the system and they find that Peter Parker
Was living with Aunt May.
no and was born as Aunt May's son.
No,
Well, nobody.
That's not.
He was
That's
born.
how
wait,
can you be his
yeah,
aunt and that?
This is aunt.
No, no.
What's wrong with you?
No. If people realize that they're connected, there's no actual living proof that they were actually connected, except for the things in the system, right? So that's sort of
I
everything's super
guess.
wishy-washy with the memory gaps.
But
It's a
who's
little
gonna
weird.
look? No one cares.
I
But
don't know about
when if they get arrested, if he gets arrested for any reason, like
there's gonna be an absolute.
it's totally weird. Anyway,
It'll be he never existed, but he did, and he never did, but he
Yeah.
actually.
so anyway, he's now living in an apartment and he's got to go find a job. So, is he going to be working for dailybugle.net? We have no idea.
Work for
You know?
Jane Jonah Jameson.
Oh, please, God.
The one who caused everything.
We'll see. So that's the end of the movie, and so it's kind of almost a fitting end in a sense, because again, we see Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things. He's sacrificing himself for the sake of the greater good, right? Let's talk about those two end credit scenes very, very quickly.
Don't remember the first.
The first was the
Yeah.
guy I wanted to avoid mentioning,
Yes.
which was Venom,
God
who
kill
had
him.
absolutely nothing to contribute except for one very potentially key thing for the future.
He's going to New York.
Yeah.
So
Wait, he should forget about it.
Interesting. No, but he knows Spider-Man.
Oh,
no,
yeah. he should
No,
forget
see,
about it.
another thing. Why is he going over there?
Why is who going over there?
Venom. Why is he going to New York?
But he wasn't. He got blipped out.
Huh?
Venom
He got
got
sent back.
TP'd out
When?
at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, I know. He went to no,
but he
he
didn't
wasn't blipped.
I mean, not okay.
He didn't know Spider-Man
He went
was,
back to his own
Yeah,
universe.
he went. Okay, that's what I mean. He
But-
went back to his own universe.
He didn't know that Spider-Man was Peter Parker, right? He didn't mention him as Peter Parker, right?
Yes,
He did.
that was the end of Venom 2. Remember that there was the J. Jonah Jameson outing of Peter Parker, and he was like,
Oh,
"Oh, I hate
yeah.
that guy."
Yeah. So then,
See, this still doesn't work. This is why I don't like Venom being here like this.
nah, this is what I don't. This is the ending of Spider-Man: No Way Home. It's getting very wishy-washy, very. quick.
It's a little weird if you really, really start to think about it.
But this is major stuff. Like, this isn't just regular small details. This is gonna really contribute to the future, which is sort of weird.
Well, anyway, the point I was originally trying to arrive at is that when he gets banished back to his own universe, not all of him goes back to his own universe. Because as it turns out, a little bit of the other was left behind. So
Yeah.
now not only is there going to be Sony's Venom with Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, we're now going to have what I can hopefully assume will be a proper Venom arc.
He also has no idea Spider-Man is a thing, technically speaking, because if he forgot that whole sequence,
It still doesn't matter. The other and Spider-Man are bound to meet.
yeah,
Well,
but still.
The one cool thing I will say, and this is me wishing, the bartender that he was speaking to. So that was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Because the bartender is trying to explain to Eddie Brock the things that happen in the MCU up to date, right? With the whole blipping and the big green guy and Captain America and all this and Thor and all that stuff, right? The character, the bartender, he plays Danny Rojas in Ted Lasso. Okay. He's the soccer player. He's the one that goes, "Soccer is life." He is an awesome character in Ted Lasso.
Okay.
This is me secretly hoping that Danny Rojas becomes the new Venom.
Yes. The
And-
soccer player.
And if you see, and I like I said, this is just me being stupid and secretly wanting something ridiculous and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have to show you Danny Rojas's character in Ted Lasso, and you will agree that this would be the most ridiculous but awesome thing to ever happen in the MCU.
I don't want ridiculous anymore.
life.
Soccer is life.
Yes. as
Imagine Venom saying, "Oh, soccer is life."
I don't want
Yes.
ridiculous anymore. I
That's
want
amazing.
my scary Venom.
Okay.
Scary Venom is stinky.
So that's that scene. So it leaves implication for both the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Sony's Spider-Man Sony's
Sonyverse.
universe. Sony's universe of Spider-Man characters. That's what it's officially called.
Yes.
Okay.
The Sonyverse.
Yeah. The second end credit scene was really a weird
A
end credit
backdoor
scene.
trailer, bro.
Yeah, it was basically a trailer for
Doctor Strange into the multiverse of madness.
Don't know why you need to include it there, but I mean, yeah, cool.
The movie featured Doctor Strange, and for those people who really like Doctor Strange's performance in this, are probably going to be wondering, oh, when's he going to be in next? Oh, this is what he's going to be in next.
it literally said Doctor Strange will return.
Yeah,
You know?
okay, I'll give you that.
Yes.
Three things that really strike me from that trailer. The first one is we're seeing a character come back.
Baron Mordo
That's
is back.
And that's the interesting thing, because it looks like he's going to be the villain of this movie.
As he should be.
Which is great, but this leads me to my second point. Seeing Scarlet Witch there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
I thought
Not even
that she was going to be the villain.
Yeah.
And apparently she's going to help.
But that leaves a massive gap in power.
Well, it could be a misdirect also.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
True.
Because I think that Baron
Mordo... but here's the thing with Baron Mordo, though. Presumably, ever since the last Doctor Strange movie, he's been stripping people of magic. And we know that when you absorb magic, it doesn't just go nowhere. So presumably
more powerful.
He's basically Cell right now.
But it's still Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, which leaves a massive gap in power.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Mordo's been doing this magic thing a lot longer than Doctor Strange and Wanda.
I'd still say Wanda.
He's got the experience.
But I'd still say Wanda is on a completely different... This is like Gohan to Goku and Vegeta.
Okay, but let me remind you of this one fight. Agatha Harkness was winning, and she was nowhere near as powerful as Wanda was.
Wait, what?
In WandaVision, Agatha Harkness was winning.
Yeah, but until Scarlet Witch finally gained her power up and absolutely destroyed her on every level, he's nowhere. He's not going to
see. But here's the thing, though.
He's not going to compare.
I don't think Mordo's the kind to mess around like that. Agatha was messing around, believe it or not.
But Scarlet Witch won't mess around this time. There's a difference. Scarlet
Witch is probably
a god.
She's getting there.
She's
because
definitely powerful.
I think, to your point, I think if Baron Mordo was fighting Doctor Strange, maybe not right now, but if he was definitely fighting Wanda at the beginning of WandaVision, then I think that's more of a fair fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Wanda at this point is now starting to come into her own with her powers, and she's starting to get more comfortable with her power set.
Not to mention, it's also Doctor Strange too. You're fighting two main people.
And Doctor Strange has already gone through Infinity War and Endgame, so he's pretty powerful, and he's not the Sorcerer Supreme due to a technicality, right? Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, by the way.
Wait a minute. So that means the Sorcerer Supreme. When I saw him appear in Shang-Chi, I just thought he was, being a regular magician. I just realized that he participated. The Sorcerer Supreme participated in a cage match.
Yes, that is amazing.
Now, was Shang-Chi after the blip? It was after the blip, or before?
Of course, it was. It was after.
That's true. Okay. So yeah, then that's weird. Is that his promotional tour?
Yes,
He was like, "Hey guys,
amazing.
he's going around shaking hands and kissing babies. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme." You know,
Oh my god.
it is a little weird.
Yeah.
But that leads me to my third
Third.
point, which was super, super interesting coming out of that thing, that this trailer references Marvel's What If in an amazing way. In an amazing way. So
Strange Supreme will be coming to the
I saw
MCU.
That was sick.
that is amazing. So a lot to be excited there in terms of
Oh God!
Doctor
You want to talk about tipping? Wow, Mordo is actually really in trouble now because Strange Supreme took on Infinity Ultron, bro.
Yeah, I know.
And he carried that fight.
So something has to happen. Something weird has to happen. It can't be just Baron Mordo unless
are they working?
Baron Mordo finds a way to
The only person
train.
I can think of that could possibly level the playing field.
Yeah, I know.
With
Here we go. Mephisto.
Dormammu.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm saying the massive gap in power has to be Dormammu.
But watch,
especially since there's Baron Mordo.
Watch what's going to happen though. The Mephisto cries are going to be loud now.
Yes, yes,
everybody,
Mephisto.
because everybody was screaming in WandaVision after every episode, Mephisto, 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 Mephisto. And guess what? Mephisto never came. So
now's the chance.
I mean, I get the hype, but chill out.
But Mephisto, though. Mephisto.
You need proper Ghost Rider first before you do Mephisto.
I think so. True. All right, so there was a lot to be excited about the movie. There was a lot excited about the backdoor trailer that we got. Let's wrap this up. For me, ratings, I am going to give Spider-Man No Way Home an 8.5. I think it is a super, super awesome movie, but it is not a perfect MCU movie. But it is the perfect Spider-Man movie with the perfect Spider-Man now going forward. So that's my thoughts.
All right. I will give you this after talking about a little bit of the plot holes, which some I don't necessarily agree with. All right. It's not perfect. I was originally going to give it a 9.9. I'm going to knock it down to a 9.5.
Okay. Fair enough. Listen, no movie is perfect, right? Mm-hmm. So, Eli?
8, which is surprisingly low compared to the rest of yours.
Remember the other night, it was 80 out of 10.
Yeah.
80 out of 10.
No, but I'm actually being for real this time. Like,
okay.
Because, like, you know, I felt like there was, like, some level of unsatisfaction with this movie, at least for me personally. Everything was, like, outstanding, but for me at least, I don't know why I felt this, but like I mentioned this before, I felt like it was building up to something and it didn't really build up to something, especially at the end. Overall, everything was great, a lot of plot points, but it's all good. I trust in Feige to fix them all up.
We trust.
And Feige we trust. And overall the movie was outstanding. So 8s.
And they did
sorta
in a way mention whatchamacallit?
What?
Miles Morales.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, well, when Jamie Foxx said, "Yo, I think there's a black Spider-Man out there." Well, yes, there is.
Yes.
And that point right there, he kind of admitted that he didn't know that that guy was Spider-Man.
What guy?
Because he thought he mentioned it, and there it is, the clarification within the movie that he did not know that Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man because he thought that underneath the mask it was a black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that bursts that wide open.
So there you go.
Plot hole.
All right, and I'm glad that you reminded me of that because he said, "Dude, I swear to God that I thought he was black." You know.
All right.
He literally didn't know that Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man. So there you go. Okay. On that note, we're gonna wrap up because we've gone way over time, but that's fine because there's so much to talk about in this movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, it literally. we could have spent another 2 hours talking about it.
Yeah,
sure.
Right.
We
With all
really
this,
could've.
with all the stuff that went on in this movie. But that being said, we do have to cut it short. We do have to cut it at this point. And I want to thank you guys for listening in. And please remember, we are now going on holiday. We will be back in 2022.
2022.
And what I will say is this. Please be safe. Please be careful. Please be healthy. Please have a wonderful holiday season. And we'll see you in 2022. So on that note, I'm signing off. This is Walt.
This is Lizard AJ.
This is Spider Man. Except it's Eli who's playing Spider-Man.
Speli.
Speli. I'm the Spider-Man from a different universe. I'm Speli.
You're Electro.
Oh no, I don't want to be Electro.
Because you fell in the vat.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. Okay.
Wait. He fell into a vat of electric Eli's.
No.
I'm revising mine. I'm Green AJ.
There you go.
What? I could just imagine you just green like a filter edit. No.
You know perfectly well what I'm referencing.
Yes, but the way it's phrased, Green AJ. I mean,
What would you prefer, AJ the Goblin?
no.
Green AJ.
Yeah,
no.
See?
But Green AJ is still sort of weird. I mean, okay, Speli. I'm gonna stay with that. Just call me Spider-Man. I'm just Spider-Man from a different universe, played by Elijah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Again, I'll say again, please be safe and have a wonderful and merry and happy and healthy holiday.
And may our webs cross again. Or you know what? Better yet, may our rhinos cross again. No. May our webs cross again.
If I right, you had it perfect, but then you just had to go with the rhinos
No, that was
thing.
amazing. May our webs cross again.
All right. Later, people.